Stefanie Powers, who played a pivotal role in Heart to Heart, was once a Hollywood A-lister, but she endured some of the darkest times ever before her fame shone. Tragically, she lost two loved ones in a span of a few weeks, leaving her devastated and feeling as though her entire world was crumbling. Not only that, but she also battled lung cancer, which put her mental and physical resilience to the test. Despite the fact that it appeared insurmountable, Stefanie discovered a way to overcome it by channeling her sorrow into an extraordinary wellspring of strength. Not only did she triumph over adversity, but her impact extends well beyond the realm of acting. In the face of such overwhelming despair, how did this strong woman find the strength to rise again? If you're looking for an emotionally engaging story, this is it. On November 1970, Stefanie Powers entered this world. It was in 1942 that Stefanie Sophia Paul came into this world in Hollywood, California. Even though she was born into fame, her upbringing wasn't exactly a fairy tale. Her mother, Juliana Gulon, was a devout Polish Catholic, and her father, Morrison Bloomfield Paul, was a gifted cinematographer. Stefanie needed her mother and older brother, Jeffrey Julian Paul, to help her get through the emotional pain of her parents' divorce when she was a little girl. Even as a young child, Stefanie's talent for the arts shone through. She painted and drew. Little Stefanie had the good fortune to take ballet classes with two Hollywood legends, Natalie Wood and Gilles John, during their childhood. This wasn't a fluke. It demonstrated that Stefanie had an innate affinity for the arts even as a child. Stefanie mustered the will to persevere during these trying years. She developed a passion for the arts and honed her ballet technique through her classes. Even though Stefanie had a difficult upbringing, she used her hardships as a springboard to greatness. Reaching the peak of the fiercely competitive entertainment industry, could these challenging early days have been the beginning of a remarkable adventure? Read on to discover the keys that Stefanie used to unlock a fantastic career and a lasting legacy, despite the obstacles she faced. By signing a contract with Columbia Pictures at the tender age of 16, Stefanie Powers seized her initial opportunity to relocate to Hollywood. Not only did this deal launch her career, but it also changed her name from the long-established Stefanie Sophia Paul to something more modern. Hollywood was more accepting of her after she formally changed her name to Stefanie Powers. She eased into the spotlight with supporting roles in films like McLintock 1963 and The Experiment in Terror. These supporting roles, however, were not sufficient to propel her into the limelight in such a cutthroat field. Undeterred, Stefanie landed a promising role as Agent April Dancer in 1966's The Girl from U.N.C.L.E., marking her acting debut. The show was a bust, I'm afraid. After The Girl from U.N.C. bombed, Stefanie's ambitions took a major hit, and she spent the subsequent 2 years battling to secure employment in a field that was constantly evolving. In addition to putting her career and resilience to the test, this period of silence, still, Stefanie's 1970 cameo on It Takes a Thief introduced her to Robert Wagner, and the two would never forget each other. They had a lot of chemistry despite her little part. Their memorable performance on the show laid the groundwork for a fruitful collaboration down the road. This set Stefanie on the path that would lead her back to the limelight. Despite facing obstacles and moments of apparent stagnation, she persevered. The foundation for her eventual ascent to fame was laid by those early, clumsy steps. She remained in the game and was ready for greater opportunities that no one had anticipated because of her dogged persistence. Was this trial merely a temporary setback that paved the way for a more significant recovery? Keep following the wild ride that is Stefanie Powers' story. Stefanie finally found success after years of floundering. Her portrayal of Jennifer Hart on Heart Tort catapulted her to stardom. 197919884. The Harts, Jonathan and Jennifer, played an amateur detective couple who became famous on television thanks to their superb acting in the show. Over the course of the show's 5 seasons, Stefanie and Robert Wagner became an iconic on-screen duo thanks to their chemistry, which also left an indelible impression on viewers. Jennifer Hart's allure stemmed from her depiction of a fascinating and perceptive woman, but the character's depth was enhanced by Stefanie, who co-starred with Wagner. The touching chemistry between the show's protagonists and supporting cast in a touch of elegance helped Stefanie advance in her career and solidify her place among. Continuing her incredible journey, Stefanie appeared in over 35 films and 200 television shows, beginning with the thrilling 1979 adventure Escape to Athena, shot in Theatre Roots, Greece, and ending with 2020's The Artist's Wife. She never failed to impress, whether in a classic Hollywood film or a cutting-edge independent film, and her versatility and perseverance were on full display throughout the years. And yet, Stefanie remained true to herself no matter how big her screen career got. Beginning her career on Broadway, she went on to star in numerous critically acclaimed productions, including Love Letters, in which she reunited with Robert Wagner, and The King and I, among many others. In addition to her work on these timeless pieces, she has appeared in revivals such as Sunset Boulevard and has toured the world as Lulu Bankhead in the musical Loop. She was fearless in taking on challenging, technically demanding parts on stage, which demonstrated her devotion to the arts. On her 2003 jazz album, On the Same Page, she collaborated with the late, great Paige Cavanaugh. While showcasing Stefanie's multi-talented artistry, the album paid homage to classic American jazz. Her soulful, warm voice brought a different side of her to the songs, lending them a special charm. Despite her hectic schedule, Stefanie always made time to get to know her co-workers. Collaborating with Sandra Dee on If a Man Answers, she cherished the memory of Sandra's sparkling, starry eyes. Sandra sought solace from her troubled marriage and the intense supervision of her mother, both of which made her feel overwhelmed. John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara were legends to work with, and Stefanie loved them all in The Quiet Man. She was impressed by their teamwork and commitment, especially during the challenging scenes. The experience of working with Tula Bankhead on Die My Darling brought back vivid memories for Stefanie of her eccentric personality and fearless antics, which brought both laughter and amazement. Stefanie Powers' artistic journey exemplifies the power of determination, constant innovation, and enduring connections. She was a star who not only shone brightly but also lived forever in the hearts of her fans, because she brought heartfelt dedication and authenticity to every role she played. Stefanie Powers' personal life has been less successful than her career. Life was tough for Stefanie. She had a tragic and profound affair with William Holden and 2 marriages that didn't work out. In 1966, as they were both establishing their careers in Hollywood, she wed actor Gary Lockwood for the first time. Their relationship started out brightly, but problems at work and in their personal lives eventually drove a wedge between them. Stefanie learned a hard lesson about love in this harsh world when her marriage ended in 1972 after 6 years of being together. A committed relationship between Stefanie and William Holden, a famous Hollywood actor, began in 1972. Through their work on animal conservation projects in Africa, the two developed a deep appreciation for the natural world and the arts. Despite their age difference, William was a constant source of solace and companionship for Stefanie throughout their joyful years of marriage. Still, there were challenging times in their love. Even though Stefanie did her best to help William overcome his alcoholism, after William tragedy strikes his untimely death in a house accident on November 16, 1981, Stefanie was devastated. Stefanie recently opened up about her intense feelings for William Holden in an interview, stating that she has found it difficult to move on from their relationship, but has never fully let go of her feelings. Finding someone else like Holden was extremely difficult, according to Stefanie as well. She made light of the fact that her fans sent her letters and Polaroids, while emphasizing how difficult it was to find a life partner with whom I could thrive. Tragically, Natalie Wood, a childhood classmate and close co-star Robert Wagner's wife, died in an unexplained boating accident just 17 days after this devastating loss. Stefanie went through a very low point in her life after the untimely deaths of 2 loved ones. The unique bond that Stefanie shares with her longtime partner Robert Wagner is something she has discussed at length on Heart to Heart. She referred to them as close friends who were in perfect harmony. William Holden and Natalie Wood's deaths drew them closer together, though they were already close before. According to Stefanie, their friendship was unlike any other she had encountered because they worked together for 5 years on Heart to Heart, sometimes for as long as 14 hours a day. While William Holden was away, Stefanie kept going with the work he had begun, refusing to give in to her pain. Stefanie established the William Holden Wildlife Foundation in 1982. The organization's goal is to safeguard wildlife and support local communities in their conservation endeavors, primarily in the US and Kenya. Stefanie devoted her life to helping people live in harmony with nature and preserving endangered species. Despite her grief, the foundation became a beacon in her life following Holden's passing, providing her with a renewed sense of purpose and an opportunity to pay tribute to the man who had touched her life so deeply. Although Stefanie wed French businessman Patrick Dea Chesna in 1993, their marriage was short-lived, ending in 1999. Tom Carroll, an auditor and ex-US Navy officer, became her boyfriend after that. Tom was there for Stefanie emotionally throughout their 14 years of marriage, helping her to cope with the ups and downs of life. Tragically, Stefanie's life was shattered when Tom passed away in 2014, ending their relationship and subjecting her to yet another profound loss. Stefanie Powers has previously stated that the inability to have children was the most devastating aspect of her life. Although she had many fulfilling relationships and marriages, none of them allowed her to have a family, her lifelong dream. In addition to her losses, Stefanie also faced significant health issues. She successfully underwent breast cancer surgery and treatment in 2007, and in 2008, but the worst part was when she got lung cancer in 2008. After 20 years of smoking, Stefanie's doctor diagnosed her with lung cancer, and she felt as though her life was being snuffed out. The illness was a sobering reminder of her long history of health neglect and a mortal danger to her life. She had to confront the harsh reality her life was passing her by, because she felt powerless and anxious about what the future held. The right lung was partially removed during Stefanie's 2009 surgery. A pivotal moment in her life had come with the perilous operation. Stefanie endured daily excruciating pain and at times felt she couldn't muster the energy to continue. Despite her diminished physical strength, her will to fight never wavered. There was more than just physical suffering, there was also an overwhelming sense of dread of dying. She had to keep fighting not only for herself, but also for the legacy she had laboriously built. And she reminded herself of this every day. When her mother passed away that same year, the burden of her loss became even more pressing.